More than ever, it's on Facebook, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me get us going, and I'll do the official intro again. Okay, guys, this is JD coming to you on Sunday, September 13th, 2020 at 7:32 p.m. Central, and this is the Mobile Trader Mastermind Group. Tonight, we're going to talk about innovation and manifestation, and have a nice group in here tonight. And the first thing I want you guys to think about, and let me know your thoughts on it as we go. But when you write something down, I know, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute the mics for just a second, and then we'll get back rolling. But when when you write it down, you begin to see it in your mind's eye. You know how you put out a dream or a goal or an idea, and my son will put it in his phone. I would put it in my phone at times, but I really use a journal. I like journals, and Larry kind of prompted me again. It sparked that thought process again for me to get my journal back out. Which I keep journal on top of journals, baby journals, the big ones, uh, and as a baseball scout, I'm always I've had 20 years of scouting reports written out in journals, and I can go back and look up. You name a player in the big leagues, I have a report handwritten on them. And that's something that's going to be a book in years to come. But now everybody's moving to the iPads, which is great. It's easy, but when we're trying to do something to manifest our our goals, our visions, Napoleon Hill said it. Earl Nightingale, Earl Schoaf has said it. Write it down so we can start seeing it. So what I want us to do right now, just the idea is we're going to raise our vibrations to an extent, or just look to raise our vibrations, and just take 10 to 15 seconds, guys, and we close our eyes and we visualize. Just visualize whatever it is that makes your heart smile, whatever makes you happy, whatever that if it's a location, being with someone, a food, a hobby. Once you visualize that, then you look at and visualize what will you need to do in order to manifest this. And for me, that manifestation is being in LA with my family, my wife, daughter, and son in Santa Monica Pier, having a second home out there, and just being able to just relax and trade on the back deck, and that's a, or even if it's a condo, I'm still working through that process, but visualize it, and then we walk through that idea of manifesting this, and just move forward, guys. So what I want you to do is the next move right here, guys, is tell me if you've heard this, or you put it in the chat. The mic, you guys have the freedom to unmute the mics as we move forward. Just making sure. Yeah, you're good to go with that. And you can rename yourself if you want to, Larry. I got you. And this is what Earl Nightingale said. He said, salary is in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the degree of difficulty involved in replacing you. That is just, it speaks volumes. Everyone talks about, I used to hear mentors say, make yourself irreplaceable. And then I couldn't figure out, like, what else can I do to make myself irreplaceable? And, and in Freemasonry, they talk about the master mason, you shoot mason. As a man, you set your own wages. As a human, we should be able to set our own wages. And then from that perspective, the need for what we do, our ability to do it, and the degree of difficulty involved in replacing us. So that those are the three principal foundational elements of that, the salary, which is in direct ratio to these elements. And the next thing I want us to, to think about doing, I've started doing it. Now I'm gonna thank Larry on this one, man. I looked at a couple of Earl Nightingale YouTube videos. The morning routine, 30-day test. You write out your yearly financial goal in a small journal or whatever, but you have to write it out. And then you write down 5 daily ideas in a journal. You do that, 30 days, but if you do that for that year, 365 days, you're going to have 1,825, a minimum of 1,825 in those ideas. They don't have to all be perfect ideas, great ideas. Some of them may be throwaway, but we put it out there. And at some point in time, as we look back, it'll trigger a thought. It'll be a catalyst, or it could be maybe we're doing something. Maybe that'll be something that jogs our thought process to begin making it happen, and off of just that idea book. So think about putting your ideas down. I know Keisha's had a business and has a business. So I know Larry's and a lot of entrepreneurs on this call. So there are things that we do, that everyone does, that you have a routine. And once I open it up, I want we're going to talk about this, but I want to go right to this young lady right here. Let me put it on the screen. Cathie Wood, and she is the CEO of well, you'll hear what she says, but it's ARK Invest, basically. And they have a lot of ETFs, and the one that I like the best is that it's the ticker ARKK. It's the innovation, it's her innovation ETF. But here we go. And put it in the chat if you have issues seeing it.
All your innovation fund, the ARKK, which is your main one. You also run the ARK Industrial Innovation ETF. ARKQ is the symbol there. This obviously invests in companies that are being disruptive in the tech area, but it has the word industrial in it. And sometimes people don't understand industrial and technology in the same sentence. And I keep explaining that essentially technology is an overlay across all industries. Can you explain this fund a little bit? What is it about industrial innovation that you're looking at here, and what's the leaders in this? What do you own in this fund?
Sure. Thank you for asking, Bob. We have actually renamed that fund for exactly the reason you're saying. It was, for many people, that was an oxymoron, industrial innovation, which it is not. Technology is moving into the industrial sector in a very profound way. So we have renamed it Autonomous Technology and Robotics, just to get a sense. And you can, autonomous vehicles, Tesla really is in the pole position. So that's our largest position there. Robotics generally, actually, autonomous vehicles are robots, but in terms of robotics in the way you and I have understood that category historically, Teradyne is our #1 pick. And most people don't know Teradyne as having anything to do with robotics, but they bought a company called Universal Robots from, it was a Danish company. And that has, it's a small part of their revenue base right now, but costs of industrial robots are dropping, especially collaborative robots or cobots, to such a level. We think that the cost of one of these robots within a few years will be $10,000, $11,000. And so very price competitive for menial jobs where there's probably a shortage of labor. Let's hope there is a shortage of labor in the next couple of years as this economy rebounds. 3D printing is a big part of that fund. So you'll have Stratasys in there, Proto Labs, which is a quick turn manufacturing company, which also is in the 3D printing space, as well as Materialize, which is software in the 3D printing space. 3D printing has been held back by autos in particular, and now aerospace. But we think crisis creates opportunity, and that it is going to accelerate the demand for 3D printing.
Where are we on 3D printing? Because 10 years ago, it was such a huge thing. I did so many stories on it, and we had a major problem 10 years ago. There was nothing to invest in. You know, you mentioned about Teradyne and the robotics firm, small part of their revenues. There was almost no pure play. Well, there was Stratasys, but there weren't many back then. And yet the news on it has kind of died down. I have friends that are in the old car business. They like buying muscle cars from the 60s and the 70s. And apparently it's a revolution. You can now buy 1969 Camaro parts that are essentially made in 3D printed. You can buy carburetors or things like that. This is what I am told. And so it's transformed that business it seemed, but how is it changing industry? Is it really going to break through now?
Yes, it is. And you ask where it is, it's in the valley of despair. Many stocks are down 80 to 90% from their highs because their focus was on the consumer space and not on the industrial space. Aerospace, aerospace companies like Boeing and Airbus, their gross margins are in the 15 to 20% range. 3D printing, now that the FAA is approving it, 3D printing can cut those costs by up to 90%, as well as lower the weight and form factors of the various parts in engines and shrink the number of parts. So aerospace, we think, given the turmoil and trouble it's in right now, it is going to seek out even more aggressively some of these new technologies that are going to help it get back to profitability.
And is this feasible now? I mean, I know, like I said before, my friends are telling me, like old cars, you can get 3D manufactured auto parts, but that's a big thing, big difference between that and a jet engine manufactured in 3D. Is this a feasible technology? Is it being used now for things like
Definitely.
aerospace?
It is absolutely feasible. There was a showstopper there for a while. The FAA was very concerned and needed to scrutinize every part, every material, but now it is seeing proof of concept and has become much more accepting of 3D printing. It sees the stress that aerospace companies are under, and so I think we're going to see a lot more approvals of different materials and a lot more companies starting to service the aerospace world. The other area that 3D printing has changed completely is in the medical space, hearing aids. I think 95% of all hearing aids in the world are 3D printed. Well, there are many medical many medical applications, ultimately hips and knees and, that are going to submit to 3D printing because 3D printing allows for such incredible customization. So it's perfect for the high value medical space, for aerospace and autos. And, autos and aerospace in real trouble. They are going to be turning to new technologies that are going to help them lower their costs, lower the fuel consumption in terms of weight, and ultimately create different form factors. When we go autonomous, we're going to see that some of us might want to take an autonomous vehicle from New York to Boston and be able to sleep in it, whereas
Hey guys, I'm pausing that real quick. I want to just open it up. Let me go back to the charts. But here's the discussion that I wanted to kind of revisit. I've been looking at this, and I really believe that the innovation and the new technological advancements, that's a deflationary strategy or deflationary. It's foundation for helping to fight inflation. Technology is deflationary. The cost of doing business is going to it's going to lower. It's going to drop down even more so. Especially, I mean, right now the innovation it's new technology. I mean, it might be 10 years from now or whatever, when that window where the margins begin to increase again. I just want to get your thoughts on what Cathie was talking about. I just open it up and just we can briefly make the statements and keep moving to the next individual. And feel free to open the mic. Lillian, yeah.
Oh, did I say something?
You had the hand up.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. It was an accident,
Yeah.
but I was listening to her talk about weight, and I know I looked at a video or something to do with I was researching NEO, and the issue was something to do with weight and how they were going to deal with that. So just to hear her talk about that was interesting.
Yeah.
How they're going to house the hydrogen.
Hey.
My hand was accidentally up.
Well, I tell you this, she talks about hydrogen. She's the one, she made a call on Nikola, she called BS on Nikola a while back, months ago. And the guy for Nikola, Middleton, went after her on Twitter, but she was just using the research that they provided, or actually the numbers that NKLA provided. And I was short NKLA last week, and I'm about to find another short position for NKLA. There's a little structure right here, a little resistance. I mean, a little support right here, but I'm gonna see what. I mean, we're going down on increasing volume on the daily. We're gonna see what that 2883 handle looks like, but there's a little space. Anyway, anyone else have the other thing is she talked about the cost of hydrogen and how hard it's going to be to get that pricing down to where even if you're going to scale. So there's some uphill battles. I know people like Plug. I know brother Brian Dillard has been a big fan of Plug Power. I still haven't done enough research on Plug. So just let me know your mic's open, David. You have some thoughts on what we talked about?
Yeah, JD. So prior to the pandemic, I actually worked as a machinist trainee inside of Boeing as well as Airbus's supply chain.
Uh-huh.
So when I turned my video off, went out to my car. Can everybody see this?
Let me get it. Let me pull mine up. Shoot.
This in my hand between my index finger and my thumb. This is an aerospace fastener.
Yeah.
This one's alloy. It might even be titanium. Yeah. Okay. You cannot 3D print this. This is something that actually holds the aircraft together, whether it's sheet metal to the fuselage. When you look out at the wing and you see the little rivets, that's one of these. Now this one, because it has a flat head, it fits, this fits directly against the part that it's being fastened to. This particular one is punched in so that it doesn't come back out. So this is what the company I worked for manufactured. Mm-hmm. You cannot 3D print this. There's about 100,000 of these on a Boeing jet. Okay. I just happen to have this one in my car. So I went out and got it to bring it in so I can share it. So the only thing that I think could be 3D printed might be something associated with an electronics component part, because, you know, most things for the aircraft are made out of some sort of alloy. You follow what I'm saying? So what she's referring to cannot be something, it certainly can't be a fastener, you know, because the fasteners have to be able to withstand, you know, tremendous amounts of pressure and heat and this sort of thing. But I just wanted to show everybody, because actually how this isn't even supposed to have gotten out the facility. I think I picked it up off the ground and put it in my pocket just as a souvenir. Yeah. And, but yeah, so this is an aerospace fastener. And this one, let me see, my little overhead light is out. But wait, let me use the light for my other backup cell phone and see if I can make out, looking at the little codes. Okay, this was for Boeing. So this is for a Boeing jet, because there's a little BA stamp on here. And I'm trying to, I think this is just like a regular, because sometimes these things are made from titanium. This one isn't titanium because it's too heavy.
Right.
But having said that, there may be some parts, but the one part, the part that you'll find the most of on any aircraft are fasteners. These bad boys. These fasten the sheet metal to the fuselage, the sheet metal to the wings. They're used all over the aircraft on the internal. So anyways, I just wanted to share this with everybody because it's kind of germane to what she was talking about. So she's not referring to these, you know, maybe some sort of, you know, other components.
I think, I mean, just from the standpoint of the technology of the 3D printing, the issue, not the issue, but one of the that's just one of the particular modes or I guess network effects or use cases for that. But I appreciate you breaking that one down right
Oh
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. And the only reason why I'm feeling so passionate about it is because I'm holding 162 Boeing calls right now. So
I got
this
you.
isn't just me talking. This is like I got money behind this.
You got skin in the game.
I got a lot of skin in the game. Yeah.
Well, shoot, we're gonna go to Larry. You got the hand up, Larry. What we got, man? Thank you, David.
No problem.
You should be able to unmute, Larry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. This is Dr. Butler. This is not Larry. How are you doing, my
Wow,
friend?
Dr. Butler. Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Just wanna kind of share with you guys as well. Before we retired, we used to work for a company called Solvay, and they make a product that's called Zydar. Used to be Amoco, but they are now making a lot of the material that's going into the 3D printers. Actually, as a chemist, the product is almost as strong as steel. So I concur with David on the rivets, but you're going to see a lot of these parts that are being made by high grade polymers. So like I said again, the company is Solvay, and just keep an eye out for those products. So what she's saying in the video, I totally concur with her, that you're going to see probably 70 to 80% of the planes that's being made that's going to be with high grade polymers. But just wanted to share that with you guys.
Well, this is something worthy of a deep dive, definitely, guys. I appreciate that, David and Dr. Butler. I tell you, I'm a fan of the ARC suite of ETFs. Now, I guess let's see if anyone else wanted to comment on that. If not, what I want to do moving forward, I want to go over just a couple of charts. And one of the charts I've always liked, of course, ARKK. But I mean, everything pulled back last week. We're trying to find a little reversal. I'm just keeping my eyes on this, but the ARKK aren't things I'm looking to trade. I'm looking at a position builder, whether it's dollar cost averaging or things like that. But this coming week, I'm short CVS. Actually, I'm still in that position right now, and we're at a little bit of structure, a little bit of support, and I have a trailing stop. I'm in a small amount of profit. So I'm looking at CVS. I mean, we had head and shoulders, had nested head and shoulders going down, and it's coming into previous demand zone. So that's where I'm looking at possibly either getting stopped out, or if we push through this little level that I have set, we'll go. But CVS had negative news, and then the charts were setting up, bear flag, and this could be the final move within that bear flag. So we could reach exhaustion, or we could continue down and push. So I just want to see it's really oversold. So that's one of the positions I'm watching. But of course, like I said, I'm watching NKLA to the downside. But on the bullish side, DraftKings has been one of mine that I really just trying to keep an eye on. But we had a breakout, had a nice wedge break and a pullback to test support. Had a lot of increase in institutional fund buying. Shout out to Mojax with the Can Slim. I got this my info off of Investors Business Daily, but I like the fact that we pulled back to support to structure. We'll see what happens this next week, and I'll look to either get out or to get stopped out. But I'm also making the speculative play that all 6 major sports were in operation for the first time in modern history, per the Allied Sports Bureau. So we'll see how that goes. Visa, and if you guys want me to take a look at any charts, just put them in the chat bar, or open up the mic, and we'll look at it. I want to look at Visa as well. Now, this is I've been on Visa for a good minute, And Mo brought it up tonight in his call. One of the keys, let me remove, I'm gonna go naked charts right quick. Let's just focus on price action right now. And I use the 8 and the 21 sometimes, you know, when I know we're not at the 50, I want to use a little, become more granular with the particular price action. And I'm on Thinkorswim, guys, right here. Okay. And let's go with Visa had been churning trading range, tap, one tap, two tap, didn't reach up there, three taps, almost four. Then we get really is tapping it and it's staying and it didn't even pull back down into the trading range, became bullish. I looked for an entry on after a reversal within there, and I got in on a new high, 203. But right now we've come back. We ran up to a spot close to, you know, all-time high kind of situation, and double top, sell off, and back to structure or back to support area, and it's holding up in the same trading range area. So I want to see. I would look for an entry possibly. It would be one where a tight stop would be in position where 202.50, 202.41 is the previous high, but I want to see us get in and stay above because the this from my studies and my experience, you know, your breakouts fail usually. That first breakout and the testing of the mark testing, and that was a breakout. That failure to come back to retest the area, and let's see what happens once we go out. But we have a little bit of resistance right here once we get up here. So I'm looking for an entry. When I look at Visa, what I do is I keep an eye on MasterCard because Visa kind of trails MasterCard. It's similar patterns, but one of them is a leader. It's like the big brother, but that's almost a picture, the exact same pattern that we just had. And it didn't make it down to this level of support. There was another level of support that was developed. That was being over the last, from early part of August, you know, to close to the end of the month. So that's where structure is right now. And actually, MasterCard is setting up, to me, a little bit stronger than Visa. Their calls are a little bit more, I don't know, a little pricier, but that's just something I'm looking at right there. I know taking one from Mo mentioned Honeywell a couple of weeks ago, and that chart has been looking like it's ready to make a move. There was a gap in price. Let me back out just a little bit, getting a little tight. Had a gap in price on, let's go up, yeah, we'll go up 30 and go down 10. On the daily chart, the gap occurred on 825, but it's holding its support. But that gap area is not that far down to come back and retest. So, and Honeywell is a smooth mover. And I have yet to trade Honeywell. I'm going to look in the chat bar in 1 second, but you know, if I were to draw my trend line and make it as tight as possible within that range right there, or I could go out just a little bit. I want to encompass this. It's respecting a nice trend line pullback. So Honeywell is set up right now in my eyes. If we get a new high right here is 160. Let me write that down. 167.47, and the high of this area is 167.30. So look for that area, that, like, you know, 167.50, give or take, and let's just see how it reacts up in that, you know, in that range, in that little area. Honeywell set up, and I'm going to look at the options on Honeywell real quick. like to go 30 days or more out. The 170 is out of the money. I don't like the open interest on the 165, but I could almost live with it. Had a little bit more volume. So pricey, not greatest of options when I go out that far, at 30 days. If I were to go out to let's see, October, I'm just looking for some open interest on this. And the call, it's 50-50 almost on the put call ratio. Okay. You got more numbers out here. 165, 170, guys. Try not to go front month. Try not to go right there on the September 18th, or the option sellers are going to eat your lunch with it, unless it's a quick day trade. Because there's a lot of open interest right here on the, but it's just 5 days, guys. Be careful with this one. I wouldn't suggest a 5 unless you're a seasoned trader. So let me go to the chat bar real quick and see what we have. I know the Cowboys are playing the Rams tonight. Yeah, I like Square. Definitely like Square, David. I'm a fan. Let's see, I'll pull that up in a second. Let's go with the DOW for Kylan. And we'll do Square next. Oh yeah, that's setting up. Let me do something real quick with the Dow. And I'm gonna put the ATR. Everybody knows I'm an ATR. I'm not an ATL guy, but I do like ATL Mo. But I'm a Dow ATR guy. Here we go. Dow is $1.52, 152 ATR. So it's not a big mover, but it moves enough. And that is a great setup right there, guys. We can look for a flat top breakout. We've had a nice, steady little trend. Let's go back to the left and see what we have here. It's at an area of light resistance for a double top, but let me, if we find a way over that, this might be definitely something to hop in on. Do your due diligence, guys. And the previous high, and it's on a bullish candle with volume too. What's the high? $50.42. We get that high above 50.50, because when we get at the half numbers and the whole numbers, let's just see how it happens at that 50.50 mark, and see how price acts. Because guys, remember how we could be going into a trading range, or you could get that breakout, pop, and a retest. So I don't know Dow well enough to just say when to hop in, but AU, okay. Start looking at October 16th options this week. Time decay. Theta's gonna eat it up. That's what the option sellers are going crazy on it, Mo. Of course. And Colin, which direction for AU, man? I've been trying to short them but my premise is gone. So that was an emotional short. Or is that Anglo? That's Anglo Gold, but Anglo Ashanti. Let's see. And Square. Thank you, Mo. For me, Square right now, I'm waiting. I'd like to see it close. The gap was filled there. We're good. And is holding its support, trend line support. I would like to see 0.43. I'd have to wait on Square right now. Now, for long-term buy and hold, that's a different story. But for a trade, let's see, long-term buy and hold, it's pulling back just like it needs to give us a possible another entry, in the 130s, even right there. So Square for NVIDIA made a big play on arm of SoftBank. Okay, we'll look at Oracle and NVIDIA and AU. So right now, Square for me is a hold right now. I can't. I don't see an entry. I'll let Mo, if Mo wants to chime in, let my brother chime in with that one. But I like it. I could see us being in this trading range. I mean, we could probably scalp it within here. Let me see what the 4-hour looks like real quick. It fell below that trend line on the 4. And I bet the options are pretty reasonably priced as well too, as it's falling down like here. So the October 16th, a lot of volume down there, but I'm looking at this. Yeah, I wouldn't trade. I mean, option sellers bonanza, man. I'm not taking the other side of this trade right now on Square. I'd rather buy the stock outright itself as a long-term buy and hold and make that play on fintech. Let's go with AU. Yeah, AU held up its support, man, big time. And now we're in a legit trading range with AU. We can go there, but I'd rather just go right in here. And trading ranges, guys, as you know, I mean, I can't go long right now. I don't really like this company. I had the Head and Shoulders. It played out right there. Then we had I call it a nested Head and Shoulders that did not really develop. It found support. So this area is a good level of support, 27.27. So, excuse me, if it breaks above this high right here, Kylan, 30.43, it's probably a go. It's go time in a way. But this is tethered to gold to an extent. But they had some negative news with the CEOs and things like that. So I'm not a big fan. But the chart, it held up at support. The last time I lost small amounts of money on this trying to make my play. I think I had a nice hit right here. Try to go back in and it just wasn't a go. So let's go to Oracle. I believe Oracle, yeah, ORCL for Mo. Then we're hitting NVIDIA. And guys, thank y'all for coming tonight. Again, we do this every Sunday. Normally, it's for members. We pay monthly or quarterly dues. Let's see, the monthly dues are $35 a month. I think quarterly, if you pay outright, I think it's might be down to 25 or 30, give or take. So let me put my email in the chat. If you're interested in joining us, we'd love to have you. There's some spots open, and definitely would like to have you guys reverse head. I see it, man. Just approved by TikTok, reverse Head and Shoulders. That's a huge one. That's a huge inverse Head and Shoulders. That's like that's like Kawhi Leonard type wide shoulders right here, man. And if we go further in, guys, nested Head and Shoulders. But when I say nested, that's a smaller Head and Shoulders within the Head and Shoulders. Now, my caution, nested inverse Head and Shoulder. My caution is this: even though Mo can speak on this a little bit more, but this was it tested that level. It's a serious bearish engulfing candle right now. So what I'd like to see, I wouldn't be able to go in Monday. I'm going to see how this shapes up and see if it's really, if it's setting up a pattern for the reentry, because Mo and his group caught that move last week. They caught it, and they caught it well, so let's see. Let me see what the weekly looks like, man. Okay, better. Yeah, and I'd have to go to that 4 hour. And that a lot of times I like to at least drill down, start from monthly. When I first started swing trading, it was month, week, day. Then you start going down into your 6 hour, 4 hour, whatever matches up with you. Um, that's a riser right there. How high is that? The high is 60.12. I mean, at 59 area, you get above 59, you start getting a chance, because there's a head and shoulders right here. Inverse head, this is basically another, let me remove that. That's going to be that's another inverse head and shoulder, a nested version of it, inverse head and shoulder. But let's see what Mo said. She's ready, man. Okay. Thank you for coming in, Trade Academy, Mr. Butler. And guys, when I say, my thing is have an identifiable setup before you go in. We can go off of news and things like that, but if the setup doesn't play out, if we can't look back in our notes and say why you got in, there's no reason to get in. I think most people on the call right now have their strategies in place. I know Keisha has her program that she sticks to. I know Mo has his, Kylan has his. Let's see who else is in the room. Crystal she tracks down information, and she's always ahead of the curve on a lot of things. Nice to meet you, Jennifer. I haven't met you before. Lillian, I'm still getting to know Lillian. I know Penny Hardaway is in here, and Larry Williams is in here now. Okay, nice, Larry. So let's go back with one more NVIDIA. So I'm putting Oracle down, guys. And I've learned spending time with my bro, man, with Mo. His call, he has a very good feel for projection, for advanced, just so he has a good feel for Oracle. And the names that we're using tonight, we've written Square AU, the ARC ETFs. Who else do we have on this list right now? At Dow, Honeywell. So MasterCard and Visa. Let's just keep an eye on those. But NVIDIA is, yeah, that's a setup. It's found support. And I want to see. And when I say yeah, that means just for me, it makes the watch list for me to just continue to keep a good eye on. But sold off, but that's almost a bullish buyback right there. That's a inverted hammer at the bottom. So that's a reversal. And it didn't even come back down to support. We had some buyers come in at the end. So the high 506.10, 486. I'm on the week. That's a damn. Ooh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, it's a climb right now, man. I like the fact it found support. When I get in, guys, like let's say I'm trying to go in and have a bullish run, I get that pullback, make a higher low, or even if it's a lower low, basically where it's structured, and I'm looking for a new high to be made. It didn't. The new high was made at that pullback, but there was no follow through. No follow through. So, two back-to-back red candles. Buyers kind of came in. When I said I want to look for, if I want to look for a re-entry, I would try to find a way in at the new high, but that high is 506.10. I know NVIDIA moves a great amount. on the ATR. And that's what I like to check. So it moves $26.37. So, and even the out of the money play is gonna, if it sells off, you're out of the money. You get pulled into it. If you buy out of the money on the call side, like Keisha says, you get dragged up the options chain. But Mo called out, he sees a head and shoulders formation on here. I see the same thing too. I like NVIDIA. I don't see any major gaps that it might be trying to holler at, but we throw these back on. That's the 8 and the 21. It's fallen below, it closed below my 21. And look for it to go to, I mean, even that 468 area might be an area like where this, the low is 468.17. We might be coming back into this area, guys. Once it gets down here, there's a chance for finding support, little trading range, or tomorrow that thing might pop up there. You know, I don't see the play right now to go long. I don't see the play to go short. I'm on the sidelines with NVIDIA. Yeah, it is, man. It's falling below that. And anytime, like if it were between these two, it would be different. But it falling below my 8 and it's falling below my 21. And I would hold off on NVIDIA unless you're doing a long-term buy and hold. Now AMD, let me go within that same sector. Look at that, it's pulling back to almost a similar pattern. And AMD does this. AMD has some gaps to meet with, and it tends, anytime people go long, get excited about AMD comes back and brings them back to earth and says, look, we have some things to holler at and rectify. And that gap down here, the high was 62.33. Not saying it's going to happen today, but AMD goes back like Microsoft. Microsoft goes back and they fill gaps. And let's go to Microsoft. Speaking of that, I'm going to show you a gap fill that it tends to always happen. And I have a lot of lines on these charts, guys. I've been marking up Microsoft for a long time. If I can just show it to you, if you can see it, let's clear this out. Bear with me. And people, you know, they say, oh man, it's perfect market manipulation. Yeah, it was manipulated, all right. That gap, you know, we just needed a little catalyst to force feed that adjustment in price. So, and one of the things is people try to understand a move. You can't always come up with the reason behind the move. We just know the move happened. That's the gap that it filled just within the last few days. But you know, trading range, and it's really still it's hanging in that range, but gapped up, sold off, and filled it. You know, it's like Microsoft finds a way to fill that gap, run up, and came back in the same little area, same region. So if I can't figure out my trend right now on Microsoft, my bet is always not bet, but my comfort level falls into, I see, you know, I err on the side of, hey, this might be a trading range or it's going to be range bound for some time. Let it establish its position. Now, these are all for trades, guys. Now, for long-term buy and hold, I'm a bullish Microsoft guy, and I'm trying to capture most of the move. I don't want to get the outliers, but I could go even further down. But let's just see if it finds any type of support and move on from there. And guys, let's see. See if I hit everything. Reverse head and shoulders, just approved by TikTok, 60 points still. I can't. Oh yeah, that's Oracle, right? Okay, yeah. And one more. Mo called this one out, and I just, man, I had to, Mo. I had to. It's just this setup for me. This churn right here is the wedge pattern on this. And I've never traded Ball Corp, but I know my grandmother had those well, she kept mason jars, but everybody keeps, and I think I saw someone say that they're using Ball to make the vials for some of the testing. Am I right about that? Or I could do this one. I could go out further and wedge that up like that. You know, I could got the trend line. This sucker is real, man. And looking for a breakout or a breakdown, but the setup for me is it's consolidation, and I'm looking for a pop. That's a clean setup. The high above 81.95. Start watching it, and if it's for a swing trade, you know, that theta decay starts happening. Well, you get that volume, get a lot of activity in the morning, first hour, but after 10:30 a.m. Central, things will slow down a little bit. So you might be able to get in at a cheaper price. I want to see the chart retest, but hey, Mo, definitely Mo will hop in aggressively on that doji with good buying volume, and I bet the 4 hour probably looks good, or at least the 1 hour. Let's see what it looked like on Friday. Got the same pattern. I'm not overbought or oversold. I'm right almost at the 50 handle on my RSI, which I'll take that. Guys, the RSI is similar to the MACD, similar to the stochastic. It's a lower study. Lets me know what that momentum is, buying pressure, selling pressure. Yeah, let's look at the option, guys. Options chain. Let's go out to October, 33 days. Pricing's good. Open interest is low. Let me see one thing on Ball. I want to know what this ATR is. I'm thinking it might be a little bit over $1. Hopefully. $177. It falls right in the, into the mix. And let's go right here. Let's go out a little further. One more strikeout. And there's no weeklies on this, which is cool. The calls outnumber the puts overall, but if we go where the deltas are, let's see what we're looking at. Out of the money deltas or the lower deltas, puts are outnumbering it. Start getting closer to the 41 to 60 range. You have the calls slightly above. So, and you go a little bit higher in the money. It's a bullish play on that side. So let's see right here. 82.50. At 82.50 and bad, but the open interest is kind of low on all of these guys for me, and the volume. So I'm watching. Be a risky play, but if you like it, I'd keep an eye on it. I mean, shoot, and if you end up wanting to trade a couple of shares and go basically with the stock itself, it might be something to consider. But this thing is set up, and I love how it looks. I love the weekly. We're above ranges right now, and a lot of time. What was the previous high right here? 82.82. All right. So we'll look at that. Look at that previous high and make that an area of like to really kind of pay attention to, and then that might be an area of resistance once we get into that trade. So guys, that's going to be a wrap for me. I know guys we're getting kind of late, but I want to open the mics, guys. Just let me know you had any ideas, thoughts, or anything about what we talked about tonight. I like what Cathie Wood was mentioning. I follow her. Thanks to Robin, she's one of Larry's, I believe, students. But yeah, guys, Mastermind group is open. I definitely would love to have you in here on, every Sunday, and we can just continue moving forward. And thank y'all for coming out. Mics are open. Cowboys are only down by 3.
Great session as always.
Oh, thank you, Crystal. That was Crystal, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
You didn't put it. I'm surprised. What are you watching? I know you come in and you say, "Hey, JD, watch Deer." Boom, blast off. Hey, JD, watch this. Boom, blast off. I'm like, "Hey, Crystal, I don't know. You might be careful with that." Boom, up $6. So what's?
Been
I mean,
busy with the business and haven't had a chance to really study like I should. Just looking at space for now. SPC.
oh
I
yeah,
know
yeah,
that's
yeah,
one of your favorites too.
yeah, man. I went ahead and bought some more. I'm rebuilding that position because it's trading range. It's a head and shoulders, though. I mean, if it pulls down, it pulls down. Hey, baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you see how I marked this up like it's a race, man. But it is anyway. Uh, space and let's see, Kylan, what you checking out, man? Thank you. And who else? Let's see. And Jennifer, please, Jennifer. Do I know you? I think you have a mic, Jennifer, or W. And thank you for coming. Okay, guys, we got the futures up 227 right now. Nasdaq's up 123. Gold is up 4. I'm saying dollars, guys.
Too, silver and gold, SLV and GL.
Yeah, I had that written down, man. I didn't want to make it seem like brother was just jumping on. Oh boy, yeah, Mo. I was cooking when you had the chart pulled up. Oh, it's winding up, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, dog.
I gotta give a shout out to who called that out. I think it was Sonia from DCG Mastermind Group.
She called that one out. Yeah, that. Okay, real quick. I know we're wrapping, guys, but you remember Visa? We had the churn. We had the trading range on Visa. Guys, trading ranges aren't bad. You have the scalpers that can make money within the trading range. You can make money within the trading range, and once you finally, you try not to go long within it, but when it breaks it, if you were going long, you go long at the bottom of a trading range, and you set your stops. Whoever got in on the reversal right here, whether it's on at the high, the new high on that candle. Let me zoom in a little bit more. But Penn was churning the same time DraftKings was doing that as the basically look at that volume mark right there. But at the same time as the leagues were opening back up, so you would look basically you were preparing to get out right here, but you were holding. Next day it popped, but you had the basically inverted hammer, or it could be an evening star, which is a reversal. It came back and tested it, but keep an eye on Penn and the gaming sector, guys, because it's still a thin window because Corona can do anything it wants to do, but the leagues are open. They're playing. Boyd was down last week. Everybody kind of pulled back, but they were setting up the same pattern. If your casino has a bookmaker, not all of them do, the bookmakers were seeing profit, and like betting, gambling is picking up. DraftKings Fantasy Sports is picking up. So Penn had the same churn right there, but it really popped. And Caesars, they owe us some money, Keisha. But if we look right here, same trading range, similar to an extent, guys. So everything in that sector, we had flag pattern, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, it's all in the same areas, guys. I'm keeping an eye on that. And DraftKings, that wedge break and came back and test. I could say that's a trading range if I want to right in there, but I like the wedge pattern. So I'm watching the gaming sector this week, watching Honeywell, and I'm trying to get out of some trades that that I'm holding on to. I'm still I'm in Tesla. Yes, I'm in Tesla. I think I'm at, we'll see what it does. It tried to find a little support and it's standing up, hammer, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, guys, I'm gonna stop the recording, and I think I'm Anaconda on ARC. Oh, okay, I got you, man. ARC. Yeah, ARC is something for me to just put in my long term. I think I've traded them a couple times, but I just like ARC. And if you type in ARK on your screen, you can see right here it has the fintech for ARKF, next gen internet, ARKW. The genomic one is one that's really picking up interest, as well as IBB with the biotech and with the virus. So a lot of stuff's going to look down for the end of this month or into next month with the viral breakthroughs that they're trying to fast track these viral the vaccines for full inoculation. So be heads up on that. ARC, where is it? Right there. Autonomous technology with the one she was speaking of, and their landmark or their main one is ARKK. So that wraps it, guys. 8:33. So that was an hour, a little bit over an hour, and